Welcome to CodeWhisper Podcast, Episode 6. Imagine having like a real shortcut to understanding the core language of the internet. Not just knowing what HTML is, but really getting why it works like it does, how it structures, every single website you visit.
Right.
And maybe the most exciting part, how you can start building your own stuff.
It's that invisible framework, isn't it? The skeleton, really, under all the flashy design we see online.
Exactly. And if you don't get the core, you're kind of trying to build a house without blueprints.
Or, like, listening to a symphony but missing the bass line entirely. It just doesn't work.
Such a good analogy. And, well, that's what we're doing today. Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
This is where we take a whole stack of information, break it down, and pull out the most important bits for you.
And today, we are diving deep into that fundamental building block of the web, HTML. Our source material for this is really extensive. It's a fantastic tutorial from the freecodecamp.org YouTube channel.
Ah, FreeCodeCamp, great resource.
Totally. It's called Learn HTML Full Tutorial for Beginners, and it's led by Gabe Gray, who's a university instructor.
Okay.
What I really like about it is how it structures things.
Yeah.
The concepts genuinely build on each other, like chapters in a good textbook, but, well, much more engaging. It goes way beyond just the syntax.
Right. It's the why, not just the what.
Yeah.
So our mission today, for you listening, is pretty ambitious, but totally doable. We want to take you from wherever you are with HTML, maybe just curious, maybe you know a bit, maybe you want to be a developer,
Right.
to really having a solid grasp, even of the more advanced ideas. We'll break down what it means, its structure, the tools you need.
The whole toolkit.
Yeah, think of this as your fast track to really getting web development from the ground up. And hopefully we'll uncover some surprising facts and practical tips along the way.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning. What is HTML? We say it all the time, but let's break down that acronym.
Right. So HTML, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And really, it's the most basic building block of the web. Can't get more fundamental.
Okay.
Its main job, its absolutely crucial role, is to define the meaning and the structure of web content. Everything you see.
So hypertext, the HT, what's that about? More than just clicking a link, right?
Yeah, it's about how information is linked together non-linearly. Those links connect web pages.
Yeah.
They could be internal links, taking you around the same website.
Yep.
Or they can be external, jumping you clear across the internet to a totally different site.
That interconnectedness.
Exactly. It's what makes it a web instead of just isolated documents. It's the glue.
And then markup, the ML part, what are we marking up? How does that work?
So markup is how HTML annotates the content, text, images, whatever. Uses tags, or more accurately, elements.
Elements, right. Tags are part of the element.
Precisely. An element includes the start tag, the end tag, and the content in between. And these elements tell the browser what the content is.
Like instructions.
Kind of. It's like saying, this bit here, that's a main heading. This block, that's a paragraph. And this is an image.
So the browser reads these instructions and builds the page.
Exactly. It understands the structure, the semantics, and renders it, often with some basic default styling even before CSS gets involved. It gives the content inherent meaning.
Okay, makes sense. But before we write any HTML, we need the right tools, the right setup. Let's talk workspace.
Crucial first step.
Cool.
You need your environment set up. Think of your web browser first. That's your canvas. It's where you see your work immediately.
And the tutorial recommends Google Chrome.
Yeah, largely because its built-in developer tools are really powerful and widely used. Easy to get to, just google.com/Chrome.
And the instructor uses that optional dark new tab extension, just for a dark mode look.
Yeah, it's a small thing, just a preference from Keller, the extension creator. If you like dark mode everywhere, like me,
Yeah.
It just makes things look concentric when you open a new tab. Less jarring.
Little things can make a difference in workflow.
Totally. Then you need your code editor. That's your workshop, your workbench, where the actual writing happens.
And the go-to seems to be Visual Studio Code, or VS Code.
Definitely the industry standard right now, and what the tutorial uses. It's free, works on Windows, Mac, Linux. Just grab it from code.visualstudio.com.
Why VS Code over others?
Well, there are other great editors, for sure, but VS Code has a huge library of extensions, a built-in terminal, great code completion. It's just really efficient, both for learning and for pro work.
Got it. So VS Code installed. What's the very first action you take?
Organization. Sounds boring, but trust me, it pays off later. Create a dedicated folder for your project.
Right, like HTML course or something.
Yeah, and maybe subfolders for lessons, like
Sure.
01 lesson, as they suggest. Instills good habits from the start. Then you just open that main project folder in VS Code. File open folder, simple.
Okay, folder opened. Now the first file.
Right. Yeah, the File Explorer in VS Code, that icon on the left, click New File. And here's the crucial part. Name it index.html.
Index.html. That specific name matters, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's not just a suggestion. It's the universal default file name web servers look for when someone visits your site's main address. It's the front door.
And the naming rules. Lowercase, no spaces.
Strict rules. Always lowercase. No spaces.
Nice.
Ever. Your Windows machine might let you get away with it sometimes.
But the web server won't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Web servers, especially Linux ones, are usually case sensitive, and spaces break things. You'll get errors. Use hyphens or underscores if you need separation.
Okay, good tip. So name it index.html. Save it. CRLPAD plus S or CMD plus S.
Yep, and you'll see that little dot next to the file name vanish. Means it's saved. Up to date. What about that prettier extension mentioned? For formatting.
Yeah. Prettier, optional, but I'd say highly recommended, especially if you ever work on a team.
What does it do?
It's an opinionated code formatter. Basically, every time you save, it automatically cleans up your code. Fixes indentation, spacing, makes sure it follows a consistent style.
So you don't have to fuss with lining things up manually. Exactly. Keeps things readable, consistent. It's like having a little robot tidying up after you. Really helpful.
Nice. Okay, index.html file exists. How do we actually start putting HTML in it? What's the absolute first thing?
The very first line, even before any HTML tags, should be .ttype-html.
.ttype-html, not actually an HTML tag itself.
Correct. It's a declaration. It tells the browser, hey, this document is written in HTML5. Without it, browsers might go into Quarks mode.
Quarks mode. Sounds bad.
It can be. Leads to inconsistent rendering. This declaration ensures the browser uses modern standards. Think of it like setting the context right from the start.
Okay, dark-type first, then the actual HTML structure begins.
Right after that. The root of the whole document is the HTML element. In VS Code, type HTML, hit tab, boom, you get the opening HTML and closing HTML tags.
And everything else goes inside these.
Everything. The entire web page lives between those two tags.
Yeah.
It's the main container.
Got it. And inside HTML, how's it typically divided?
Fundamentally into two main sections. First, there's the head element, type head, hit tab.
The head. What goes in there?
This holds stuff that's not directly visible on the page. It's metadata information about the page.
Like what?
Things like the page title, links to CSS style sheets, character encoding information, stuff the browser or search engines need.
The title element. That's in the head, right?
Yep. Crucial piece. You type title, tab, and put your page title inside, like my first web page.
But this title doesn't show up on the page itself.
Correct. That's a common beginner confusion. It shows up in the browser tab at the very top. It's also what search engines often use as the clickable link in results.
Okay, so it identifies the page. What else is essential in the head?
You absolutely need the character encoding meta tag.
Metachar set, UTF-8.
UTF-8. Why is that so important?
UTF-8 is the standard character encoding for the web. It ensures all characters, especially special symbols or text in different languages, display correctly. Without it, you can get weird symbols, garbled text, just broken content.
Makes sense. What about that lang attribute warning you sometimes get? Ah, yes, from the validator. It often suggests adding a lang attribute to the HTML tag.
So HTML lang N for English.
Exactly. Or EASE for Spanish, free for French, etc. It's not just ticking a box for the validator. It tells browsers, screen readers, search engines the language of the page.
How does that help?
Search engines can target the right audience. Screen readers use the correct pronunciation and accent. It's really important for accessibility and reaching a global audience.
Good point. Okay, so that's the head. What's the other main section inside HTML?
That would be the body element. Type body, hit tab. This is where the action happens.
This is the stuff everyone does see.
Precisely. All the visible content, text, images, links, videos, forms, everything the user interacts with goes inside the body tags. It's the main stage.
Right. So inside the body, how do we add basic content, like text?
You start with the basics, headings and paragraphs. The H1 element is heading 1. It's the most important heading.
And the rule is only one H1 per page.
That's the strong convention, yeah. It should state the main topic of the page. Like hello world for your first page, it's tradition.
Okay. And for regular text?
You use the P element for paragraph, type P, tab, and put your text inside. Like, this is my first web page.
Simple enough. H1 for the main title, P for paragraphs. Now, how do we see this masterpiece? You mentioned not just opening the file.
Right. You need live server, It's a VS Code extension by Ritwick-Day. Absolutely essential.
Why? What does it do?
It creates a small local web server on your computer, a dev environment. You don't want to just double-click the HTML file in your file explorer.
Why not? It seems like it would work.
It might look like it works, but it runs with different security rules. File.protocol and some things, especially JavaScript later on, might break and behave weirdly. Live server mimics a real server environment, HTTP.
Okay, so install live server in VS Code. Then how do you use it?
Just right-click your index.html file in the VS Code Explorer and choose Open with Live Server.
And the magic is the auto-reload.
That's the beauty of it. Every time you save your HTML file, Ctrl+S, Live Server automatically refreshes the page in your browser. Instant feedback. It speeds things up immensely.
Nice. And the address it uses, like 127.27.201.1.55500, that's just local.
Purely local,
Oh,
on your
cool.
machine only. That 127.0.1 is just the standard IP address for your own computer, local host. Nobody else on the internet can see it. It's your private sandbox.
How do you stop it when you're done?
Usually there's a little port Echo 500 indicator in the VS Code status bar at the bottom. You can click that, or just right-click the file again and choose Stop Live Server.
Gotcha. Any other VS Code tweaks that help visually?
Well, the VS Code icons extension is pretty neat. It puts little icons next to your file names, like the HTML5 shield for .html files, CSS icon for .css, helps you spot files faster.
Oh, I can see how that would be useful.
Yeah, especially when you have lots of files. And if you like the dark theme, the GitHub theme extension is popular. Matches the dark tab extension we mentioned earlier, gives a consistent look.
Cool. Okay, so we've got a basic page, DOC type PE, head body H1PD. It looks okay in live server. But how do we know if the HTML itself is correct, like technically sound?
Validation. That's where the W3C markup validation service comes in. Validator.w3.org.
W3C, Worldwide Web Consortium, the standards people.
That's them. This tool checks your HTML against the official standards. It's like a proofreader for your code. It tells you if you have errors or warnings.
Why bother if it looks okay in the browser?
Because browsers are very forgiving. They try to render broken HTML, but different browsers might do it differently. Validation ensures your code is robust, predictable, and accessible across the board. It catches things you might miss.
Okay, so how do you use it with a local file?
Go to validator.w3.org, choose the Validate by File Upload tab, select your index.html, and hit check.
And it'll likely find those initial issues we fixed, like missing lang or charset.
Exactly. It would flag those warnings and errors. You go back to VS Code, add the .doc type, HTML, the meta chars, UTF-8, the HTML lang again, save it.
Then upload it again.
Yep. Revalidate. And hopefully you get that lovely green message. Document checking completed. No errors or warnings to show.
Success! Your HTML is officially just fine.
It's a good feeling. A clean bill of health for your code. An important step for every page.
All right, fundamental setup and validation nailed down. Let's circle back to the head section. We know title and charset go there. What else is useful metadata?
Right. Remember, head stuff isn't seen directly, but it's info about the page. You often see meta name author content, your name.
For identifying the creator.
Yeah, useful for search engines sometimes or just documentation. More common, and maybe more important for SEO, is meta name description content.
The description meta tag, what's its role?
You put a concise summary of the page content in the content attribute. Search engines often display this description snippet right below your title in the search results. It's your chance to entice users to click.
Ah, okay, so it's like ad copy for your page in the search results.
Kinda, yeah. It needs to be accurate and compelling.
What about that little icon in the browser tab? The favicon?
Yes. Love favicons. They had a nice touch of branding. You add it using a link element in the head.
A link element, let's for CSS.
Similar tag, different attributes.
Mm-hmm.
For a favicon, it's usually link rel icon, href, pathwhereicon.png type, image das icon, or maybe image view.
And that href points to the little image file.
Exactly. That small square image that shows up in the tab and bookmarks makes your site instantly recognizable. Don't skip it.
Good tip. And speaking of CSS, you link external style sheets in the head too, right? Using that same link tag.
Correct. While you can put CSS directly inside style tags in the head, it's much better practice to keep your CSS in a separate file, say main.css.
Why separate them?
Separation of concerns. HTML is for structure, CSS is for style. It keeps your HTML cleaner, easier to read and maintain. Plus, the browser can cache that external main.css file.
Caching, so it loads faster next time.
Exactly. If the user visits another page on your site that uses the same main.css, the browser doesn't have to download it again. Big performance win.
So you create main.css, put your styles there, and in the HTML head, you put link rel style sheet href main.css.
That's the standard way. Much better than inline styles or style blocks for anything beyond tiny experiments.
Makes sense. Okay, moving into the body again, we covered H1 and P. What about the other headings, H2 to H6?
Think of them like an outline for your content. H1 is the main title. H2s are major sections. H3s are subsections within those H2s, and so on, down to H6.
Like chapters and subheadings in a book.
Perfect analogy. It creates a logical hierarchy. And this isn't just visual browsers, usually style them differently, H1 biggest, H6 smallest, but the semantic meaning is crucial.
Semantics again, why so important here?
Accessibility. Screen readers use these headings as landmarks. A user can quickly jump between H2 sections to understand the page structure without reading everything. It's fundamental for navigation for many users. And search engines look at headings too to understand content hierarchy.
So use them logically to outline your content, not just for looks. CSS handles the looks later.
Precisely. Structure first, style later.
What if you want a visual break, like a dividing line, but it's not really a new heading section? Maybe just a change in topic within a section.
For that, you have the HR element horizontal rule.
It just draws a line across the page.
Visually, yes. But semantically, it signals a thematic break. A shift in topic within the flow of content. It's not just decoration, it has meaning.
Okay. And what about line breaks within text? If I hit enter in my code, it doesn't show up in the browser.
Right, that's called white space collapsing. Browsers ignore multiple spaces and line breaks in your HTML source code. If you need to force a line break, like in an address...
Use brute.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The brio tag forces a line break right where you put it. It's a self-closing tag. Use it sparingly, though. Don't use lots of brie tags just to create vertical space. That's what CSS margins and padding are for.
Got it. HR for thematic breaks, BR for forced line breaks within text. Now, sometimes you need to display characters that HTML uses for its own syntax, like the less than or greater than symbols. How do you do that?
HTML entities. You can't just type because the browser thinks you're starting a tag. You need special codes.
Like NLT for less than, and N greater than.
Exactly.
Yep.
LT for less than, GNT for greater than. There are codes for lots of symbols, and copy gives you the copyright symbol, air, and map gives you an ampersand in them.
And NBSP, that's for space.
It looks like a space, and it does add space, but NBSP stands for non-breaking space.
Non-breaking, meaning?
It tells the browser not to put a line break here. Useful if you want to keep figure and one together like figure and BSP1 so they don't get split across lines. It prevents awkward breaks.
Clever. Are there lists of these codes somewhere?
Oh yeah, tons of them online. Search for HTML entities list. Places like MDN, Mozilla Developer Network, have comprehensive lists.
Good to know. Okay, let's talk about adding even more specific meaning. Elements for things like abbreviations or addresses.
Definitely. For abbreviations or acronyms, use the abbri tag, like wrapping MDN in abbri.
And you add the full meaning.
Yes, using the title attribute. So, abbri title, Mozilla Developer Network, MDNAB. When you hover over MDN with a mouse.
A little tooltip pops up.
Exactly, showing the full text. It's neat, but there's a catch.
Accessibility. Doesn't work well for screen readers or touch screens.
You got it. The tooltip relies on hovering, which isn't always possible. So don't put critical info only in the title attribute. It's helpful, but not essential for understanding.
Right. What about addresses? Like contact info.
Use the address element. It specifically marks up contact information, physical address, email, phone, URL, related to the nearest article or the whole body.
Does it look different?
Browsers often italicize it by default, but the main thing is the semantic meaning. It tells browsers and assistive tech, hey, this block is contact info.
Makes sense. And what about leaving notes for yourself in the code? Comments.
HTML comments are great for that. You write them like this. Your comment here.
And the browser ignores them? They don't show up on the page?
Correct. They're invisible on the rendered page. Perfect for reminders, explanations, or temporarily commenting out a block of code you don't want to delete yet.
Like a to-do note.
Yeah, Tato. Fix this link is super common, but big warning.
Let me guess. People can still see them.
Anyone can see them if they view the page source, shooterall plus you or view source. So never put passwords, secrets, or anything sensitive in HTML comments on a live website. Assume they're public.
Okay, duly noted. No secrets in comments.
Please don't.
Now, structuring groups of information, lists seem really fundamental. Navigation menus, bullet points.
Lists are everywhere on the web. Super useful. HTML gives us three main types. First, ordered lists using the old tag.
Ordered, meaning the sequence matters.
Exactly. Like steps and instructions, rankings, anything where 1, 2, 3 order is important. Inside the OL, each item is wrapped in a lead tag for list item.
And they show up with numbers by default.
Yep, 1, 2, 3, reflecting that order.
Okay, what if the order doesn't matter?
Then you use an unordered list, the OL tag. Think bullet points, lists of features, shopping lists. The order isn't the point.
Still use lie for the items inside.
Still use lie inside the OL. And visually, they usually appear with bullet points, dots by default.
Makes sense. OL for ordered numbers, OL for unordered bullets. What's the third type?
Description lists using DL. These are a bit different. They're for pairs of terms and descriptions.
Like a dictionary or a glossary?
Perfect examples.
Yeah.
Or FAQs. Inside the DL, you have DT for the description term and then DD for the description details or definitions.
So term DT, then it's definition DD.
Right. Visually, the DD is often indented under the DT. It creates that clear term definition structure.
Can you put other things inside list items, like a paragraph inside and lie?
Oh yeah, absolutely. List items can contain paragraphs, images, even other nested lists. HTML is pretty flexible there, allows for quite complex, structured content within lists.
Cool. Okay, let's shift to the absolute core of the hypertext part, links, the tag.
The anchor tag, A. It's what makes the web a web. It creates the links. But the tag alone does nothing.
It needs the href attribute, right, the destination.
Exactly. href stands for hypertext reference. It holds the URL or path telling the browser where to go when the link is clicked. No href, no link.
You mentioned different types of references, absolute versus relative.
Right. An absolute reference is the full, complete web address. https://www.example.com, compage.html. You use this to link to pages on other websites anywhere on the internet.
Got it. And relative references.
Those are for linking to files within your own website on the same server. Instead of the full URL, you provide the path relative to the current file.
Like about.html if it's in the same folder.
Exactly. Or imageslogo.pne if it's in an images subfolder. Relative links are great because if you move your whole website, they usually don't break, unlike absolute links might. They're more portable.
Makes sense. What about linking within the same page, like a table of contents that jumps you down?
Internal page links or anchor links. Super useful for long pages. First, you need to give the destination element an IGED attribute.
Like H2ID, contact info too.
Perfect. Then, in your link, the href starts with a hash symbol, hashtag followed by that ID. A href hashtag contact info, jump to contacta.
And clicking that scrolls the page right to the element with that ID.
Instantly. Great for navigation menus on single-page sites, FAQs, or just getting back to the top with a back-to-top link.
Nice. What about making links open in a new tab? I see that a lot.
That's the target blank attribute. Add that to your tag, and clicking a link opens the destination in a brand new browser tab or window.
Often used for external links, so people don't leave your site completely.
Common practice, yeah. Keeps your site open.
Can you make a link download a file instead of opening it?
Yep. Add the download attribute to the tag. If the href points to, say, an image file or PDF, adding download tells the browser to save the file instead of trying to display it.
Handy. What about email links? Mailto.
href. mailto.someone@example.com. Clicking it usually opens the user's default email client with the address pre-filled.
But you mentioned a warning about this. Spam.
Big warning. Publicly displaying email addresses like this makes them easy targets for spam bots that scrape websites. They harvest these addresses. It's generally much safer to use a contact form that processes the data server side.
Good advice. And phone links for mobile.
href plus 155-123-4567. On a smartphone, tapping this usually opens the phone dialer with the number ready to call. Very convenient for users.
Okay, now, the text inside the link, the clickable part. Best practices here.
Super important for usability and accessibility. First, don't be redundant. Screen readers announce link, so don't write link to our about page. Just about page is enough.
Be concise.
Yes, keep link text reasonably short, but most importantly, be descriptive. The link text should clearly tell the user where the link goes or what it does.
So avoid generic stuff like, click here.
Please, never use click here, read more, learn more. It's terrible for context. Imagine a screen reader reading out 5 links, all called click here. Utterly confusing.
Right. Be specific. Download the report instead of click here.
Exactly. Or view product details instead of more info. Context is king.
What about linking back to the homepage? Is there a shortcut?
Yep, the root link, href, just a single slash. It tells the browser to go to the root directory of the current website, which almost always loads the index.html page. Clean and standard.
Nice. Okay, we've covered structure, text, links. Let's add visuals, images.
Right. HTML supports multimedia, and images are key.
Yeah.
You use the MG element.
MG. And it's self-closing. No MG tag needed.
Correct. In HTML5, it's a void element, just MG. Though you might see MG sometimes, especially in React JSX, HTML5 doesn't require the slash.
And best practice is to keep images in their own folder, like MG.
Definitely recommended. Keeps your project tidy. So inside the MG tag, you need attributes. First, SRC.
SRC for source. That's the path to the image file, right?
Exactly. SRC in logo.png, or maybe a full URL if it's hosted elsewhere. This tells the browser where to find the picture.
And the other absolutely critical attribute is alt, alternative text.
Crucial. Cannot stress alt text enough. It has two main jobs. One, accessibility. It provides a textual description of the image for screen readers, for visually impaired users.
So they know what the image is showing.
Exactly. Without good art text, images are just black holes for them. Two, fallback. If the image fails to load for any reason, broken link, slow connection, the alt text is displayed on the page instead.
So users still get the information. Plus SEO benefits too, right? Search engines read alt text.
They do. Helps them understand image content. So write descriptive, meaningful alt text, not just image or logo. Describe what it is.
What about the title attribute on images, similar to the one on a brie?
Similar idea.
Yeah.
MG title, a descriptive tooltip text. It provides that little pop-up text when you hover with a mouse.
But again, not accessible.
Not reliably accessible, no. So complimentary info only, nothing essential. The alt text is for the essential description.
Got it. Now, width and height attributes on images. You said they're making a comeback.
They are. For years, people relied only on CSS for sizing, but setting width 300 and height 300 in pixels directly in the HTML is now recommended again.
Why the change?
To prevent cumulative layout shift, or CLS, that annoying thing where the page content jumps around as images load in.
Ugh, I hate that. You go to click something and it moves.
Exactly. By setting width and height in the HTML, the browser reserves the correct amount of space for the image before it downloads. No more jumping content. Major user experience improvement. CSS can still override it for responsive design, but the HTML provides the initial placeholder.
Smart. And for performance, especially with lots of images.
Loading lazy.
Yes, this is huge for performance. By default, images are loading eager, meaning they all start loading as soon as the page starts loading.
Even ones way down the page you can't see yet.
Yep. But loading lazy tells the browser, hold off on loading this image until the user scrolls close to it until it's actually about to enter the viewport.
So it only loads images as needed, pretty much. Huge data savings, especially on mobile. Makes the initial page load much faster, especially for pages with images below the fold. It's a simple attribute with a massive impact. You can actually watch it happen in browser developer tools.
Very cool. Now, sometimes an image needs more context, like a caption directly associated with it.
That's where figure and fig caption come in. Figure is a semantic container for self-contained content, often an image, but could be a chart, code snippet, diagram.
Something that could almost stand alone.
Right. And then fig caption goes inside the figure and provides the caption for that content.
So figure IMG SRC. Fig caption, this is a caption.fig caption figure.
Perfect. It semantically links the caption to the figure content, which is much better for accessibility and meaning than just putting a p tag on an ENG.
And you said figure isn't just for images?
Nope. You could wrap a pre or code block containing code inside a figure and give it a fig caption like example of JavaScript code. It groups the code and its description together meaningfully.
Versatile. Okay, quick detour. Finding images. Where can developers get images, especially for placeholders or legally free ones?
Good question. For placeholders during development, sites like placeholder.com generate simple gray boxes with dimensions, or philmurray.com for random Bill Murray pics if you like.
Huh. Okay, what about actual photos?
For high-quality, free-to-use images, check out sites like Unsplash, Pexels, Pixabay, Gratisography. Always check the license, but they usually offer very primitive licenses for commercial and non-commercial use. Crucial to respect image rights.
And for editing or optimizing images?
For quick resizing cropping, Irfan View is a simple free tool. For more design work, Canva.com has a good free tier. And definitely use an image compressor like tinypm.com, works for JPGs too. It shrinks file sizes significantly without losing much quality, which means faster page loads. Essential step.
Great resources. Okay, let's zoom out again. We have content, images, links. How do we structure the entire page semantically, beyond just headings?
Right, overall page structure. HTML5 gave us some key semantic layout elements to replace the old mess of divs. We already mentioned the heading hierarchy, H1, H6, is fundamental for the outline.
But for major page regions.
We have the big three: header, main, and footer.
The header, that's for the top of the page, like the logo and main nav.
Often, yes. It defines introductory content or navigation links. But a page can have multiple header elements. The main page header, yes, but an individual article on the page could also have its own header. It's contextual.
Okay, and main.
This contains the dominant, unique content of the page body, the core stuff.
Yeah.
And the rule is only one main element per page. Makes sense, right? There's usually only one main content area.
Yeah, that seems logical. What about footer?
Defines the footer for its nearest sectioning ancestor. Again, you could have multiple. A main page footer at the bottom, copyright links, etc. But an article could also have its own footer, author info, tags, etc.
So header, main, footer define the primary zones. What about navigation menus specifically?
Use the nav element. It semantically groups major navigation links. Tells browsers and screen readers this is a navigation block.
Can you have more than one nav? Like one in the header and one in the footer?
Absolutely. If they serve distinct navigation purposes, and if you do have multiple navs, it's good practice for accessibility to add an area label to distinguish them, like area label primary navigation or area label footer links. Helps screen reader users understand which nav is which.
Okay, now for grouping the actual content within main, we have article and section. What's the difference? It seems confusing sometimes.
Can be a bit subtle, and there's sometimes debate, but the semantic difference is important. An article is for self-contained, independently distributable content. Think blog post, news story, forum comment. It has a clear topic and could stand alone.
And section?
Section is a more generic grouping of related content, usually with a heading. It represents a thematic section within a larger document or article. It doesn't necessarily make sense on its own.
So a blog post would be an article, and within that article, chapters or parts could be sections.
That's a great way to think about it. An article is the whole piece. Sections are logical divisions within it, or within the main page content if there isn't a single overarching article. Both pass validation, but using them correctly adds valuable semantic meaning.
Got it. Let's cover a few more specific semantic tags that add nuance. Aside.
Aside is for content that's tangentially related to the main content, but not central to it.
Yeah.
Like complementary info. Think sidebars, pull quotes, related links, maybe a glossary definition off to the side.
So related, but you could remove it and the main content would still make sense.
Pretty much, yeah.
What about those cool interactive height show things? FAQs often use them.
Details and summary.
Yeah.
Native HTML, no JavaScript needed. Summary is the visible part, the question or heading you click on.
Like what is HTML?
Right.
Yeah.
The answer or the content you want to hide show goes inside the details element right after the summary. Clicking the summary toggles the visibility of the rest of the details content. Super handy for FAQs, product specs, anything you want to progressively disclose.
Neat. And mark, just for highlighting.
Yet mark semantically represents text that is marked or highlighted for reference or relevance, like using a highlighter pen. It's an inline element.
And time, for dates and time.
Exactly. It allows you to wrap a human-readable date or time, like Jan 15, 2023, but also provide a machine-readable version in the date-time attribute, like datetime 2023-0115.
Why is the machine-readable part useful?
Helps browsers, search engines, calendar apps, assistive tech understand the specific date or time unambiguously. Useful for scheduling, sorting, displaying localized dates. Can also represent durations.
Clever. Now, the ones to be careful with. Div and span. The generic containers.
Ah, yes, the ghosts of HTML past.
Yeah.
Though still sometimes necessary. You see divs everywhere in older code, used for all layout.
But the problem is they have no semantic meaning.
None whatsoever. Div is a generic block-level container. Span is a generic inline container. Because they lack meaning, you often have to add lots of extra area attributes to make them accessible, which is more work and more prone to errors. They make the structure harder to understand for machines.
So when should you use them?
Only as a last resort, really. When no other semantic element, article, section, nav, aside, etc., accurately describes the content you need to group purely for styling purposes with CSS. If you just need a hook to apply a style to a block, div, or a bit of text span, and nothing else fits semantically, then okay. But always try semantic elements first. Avoid divitis.
Okay, message received. Semantics first, dev span last.
Please. Your future self and anyone else working on the code will thank you.
Let's switch gears to structuring complex data. HTML tables. For rows and columns.
Right. Tables are specifically for tabular data. Think spreadsheets. Schedules, statistics, place lists, feature comparisons, data that belongs in a grid.
But the big warning, don't use them for page layout.
Absolutely critical. That was a terrible practice from the early web. using tables to position your header, sidebar, footer. It creates rigid, inaccessible, unmaintainable messes. Use semantic layout elements and CSS for layout now. Tables are for data.
Okay, so for actual data, what's the basic structure?
It starts with the table element as the main container. Inside that, you have tree elements for each table row.
Tree for table row, makes sense.
And inside each tier, you have cells. Either treed for table data, a standard cell, or 3 for table header.
3 for headers. How are they different from 2D?
Semantically, they mark header information for a row or column. Visually, browsers usually make 3 text bold and centered by default.
Got it. Now, for accessibility with tables, especially complex ones, there's more, right?
Oh yes, crucial semantic elements for tables. First, the caption element. It goes right inside the table, usually first, and provides a title or description for the entire table. Huge help for screen readers to understand the table's purpose up front.
Like a title for the whole data set.
Exactly. Then you should group your rows. Head wraps the header rows, contain this usually. T-body wraps the main data rows, containing TDS. And T-foot wraps footer or summary rows at the bottom, like totals.
So head, T-body, T-foot structure the rows logically.
Correct. It provides clear semantic structure, which helps browsers and assistive tech. And even more important for cell relationships is the scope attribute.
Scope on the LF elements.
Yes. You add scope col to a row if it's a header for a column, or scope row if it's a header for a row.
How does that help a screen reader?
It explicitly tells the screen reader which data cells that header applies to. So when navigating the table, it can announce column header, row header, cell data, making the relationships crystal clear. It's vital for understanding complex data, much simpler and better than older methods.
Wow, okay. Scope is key for table accessibility. What if a cell needs to span multiple columns or rows?
Use col span and row span. Add col span 2 to a TD or 3 to make it span across 2 columns. Add row span 3 to make it span down across 3 rows. Lets you create more complex table structures.
And tables size themselves based on content. They don't automatically fill the page with.
Generally, yes. They expand to fit the content inside them. Unlike, say, a paragraph, which usually takes the full available width. CSS can change this, of course. And always validate your tables. They can get complex, easy to make mistakes. Use the W3C validator.
Right. Okay, massive topic next. Making the web interactive. Forms. Letting users send data back.
The game changer. Forms allow two-way communication. Contact forms, login fields, search boxes, online orders. All powered by HTML forms.
It starts with the form element itself.
Yep, the form tag wraps the entire form. It needs 2 key attributes, action and method.
Action is where the data goes.
Exactly. The URL of the server-side script that will process the submitted data could be your own server script or a service like http://bin.org post for testing.
And method is how it's sent. Get TET or post.
Right. Method getT appends the form data to the URL itself. You can see it in the address bar. Good for search queries maybe, but never for passwords or sensitive data because it's visible.
So POST is more secure.
Method post sends the data in the body of the HTTP request, not in the URL. Much more secure for sensitive info and better for larger amounts of data. Usually the default choice for submitting data.
Okay. Inside the form, it's mostly input elements and labels.
Yes, and the pairing is non-negotiable for accessibility. Every input needs a label. The label provides the description.
And the labels for attribute must match the input's id attribute.
Critically important. Label for first name.label, and input text id first name. That forward link is essential. It means clicking the label text focuses the input field, and screen readers announce the label correctly with its input.
And the name attribute on the input, that's for the server.
Yes, the name is how the server identifies which piece of data is which when it receives the submission.
Yeah.
Name, first name, sends the value entered as the first name data point.
And wrapping label input pairs in p tags helps with spacing.
Often a good simple way to get default block spacing, Better semantically than just using a div.
Okay, lots of different input types. Let's run through some common ones. Type text.
Your basic single-line text field. For names, subjects, etc., you can add placeholder, e.g. John Doe, for example, text. Autocomplete on helps browsers fill it automatically. Required makes it mandatory. Autofocus puts the cursor there on page load. Use only once per page.
Type password.
Masks the input with dots or asterisks. Essential for passwords. Autocomplete often handled differently by browsers here, like autocomplete current password.
Type tel for phone numbers.
Good choice. Brings up a numeric keypad on mobile. You can use the pattern attribute with a regular expression, like pattern 093, 093, 094, to enforce a specific format.
Type number.
For numerical input. Can use min, max, step attributes to control the range and increments like min1, max, 10 step 1. Can set a default value.
Type email.
Validates that the input looks like an email address. Has an add in the domain part when the form is submitted.
Okay, those are common inputs. What about dropdowns?
That's the select element containing multiple option elements. Select name, fave color, edit fave color. Inside option value, red option. Option value, blue option.
The value is what gets sent. The text between the tags is what the user sees.
Correct. You can mark one option with the selected attribute to make it the default. Add the multiple attribute to the select to allow multiple selections. Usually needs a size attribute then. Makes it a list box.
Can you group options in a dropdown?
Yes, with op-group label, group name. Wrap related options inside an op-group to organize long lists like op-group label coffees, op-group label teas.
What's that data list thing? Suggested input.
Yeah, it's cool. Use a regular input type text, but add a list attribute, input type text list suggestions. Then create a data list stations containing option elements.
So it looks like text input, but offers suggestions from the list as you type.
Exactly. Filters the options dynamically. Great for suggestions where you don't want to force a choice from a fixed list.
Neat. Radio buttons. For choosing only one option.
Input type radio. The key is, all radio buttons in the same group must have the same name attribute. That's how the browser knows only one can be selected. Each radio button needs its own unique id and value.
And checkboxes for choosing multiple.
Input type checkbox. Users can check as many as they want. Each checkbox usually has the same name if they belong to a group, like toppings, but unique id and value.
For longer text, like a message box.
Use the text area limit. Text area name message id message rows 5 cols, 30 text area. Rows and cols suggest default size, often controlled by CSS. Can also have a placeholder.
Okay, forms can get long. How do you group related fields visually and semantically?
Use field set and legend. Wrap a group of related controls like all the address fields in a field set. By default, it draws a box around them.
In the legend.
The legend goes right inside the field set, usually first, and provides a title or caption for that group, like legend, personal information legend. Fantastic for structure and accessibility. Tells users what that section of the form is about. Way better than just a heading above some inputs.
Finally, submitting the form. Buttons.
Use the button element. It's more flexible than the older input type submit, set type submit to make it submit the form, set type reset to make it clear all the fields.
Why is button better than input type submit?
Because you can put HTML inside a button, like text, and an icon image. Input type submit can only have plain text as its value. Button is much more versatile for styling.
Can buttons override the form's action or method?
Yes. A submit button can have a form action attribute to send data to a different URL than the main form action. They can also have form method, post, or GT, to override the form's default method just for that specific button click. Very powerful for complex scenarios.
And the browser helps with validation on submit, like for required fields.
Yep. If a field has the required attribute, or if an email input has invalid format, the browser will usually stop the submission and highlight the problematic field, guiding the user to fix it before it sends the data. Client-side validation.
And after all that, validate the whole form's HTML structure with the W3C validator.
Always a good final check, especially with nested elements like field sets and labels.
Yeah.
Catches syntax errors.
Wow. Okay, that covers pretty much everything foundational. Now, to see it all work together, the little taco shop project from the tutorial.
Yes. This project is a brilliant practical application. It builds a simple, multi-page website, index.html, hours.html, contact.html, using almost all the concepts we've discussed.
So we see navigation menus using etl and a tags, linking between pages, and also using anchor links, hashtag menu, within pages.
Exactly. Clear navigation structure. And it heavily uses semantic layout. Header, main, footer, article, section, aside. You see how they define the page structure clearly.
Content display features images with proper alt, title, width, height, wrapped in figure with fig caption. Lots of lists, ordered, unordered description lists for things like store hours.
And a detailed menu table using a head, T-body, T-foot caption, width with scope, col, TD, even colspan. Really shows how to structure tabular data correctly. Plus, HTML entities for copyright and copy, the time element, approved for LTS, detailed summary for trivia, and address.
And the interactive parts. A full contact form.
Yep, a comprehensive form on contact.html with text inputs, email, text area, labels, field sets, legends, radio buttons, checkboxes, submit and reset buttons. It also uses mailto.links and links that jump between pages to specific sections, like from contact back to the About section on index.
What's really striking is that this entire multi-page site, with all its structure and basic interactivity, is built almost entirely with just HTML.
It really highlights HTML's power. The CSS used is minimal, just for basic styling. The core structure, linking, semantics, forms, that's all pure HTML doing the heavy lifting. It shows how strong the foundation is.
And of course, the tutorial emphasizes validating every page throughout the project, checking for errors.
Consistent validation, ensuring clean, compliant code from start to finish. It's just good practice baked in.
So we've really gone deep today. Pulled back the curtain on HTML, the language that builds literally every web page. From basics like what hypertext markup language means, to building complex forms, semantic layouts, you should now have a really solid grasp of its power.
Yeah, the key things to remember. HTML is the skeleton. It gives structure and meaning. And semantic HTML, it's not just for looks. It's vital for accessibility, for SEO, for just writing code that makes sense later.
And tools like VS Code, Live Server, they make the whole process smoother, more efficient.
Yeah.
It's amazing how every little tag, every attribute like loading, lazy, or alt text, or scope in tables has a real purpose, often tied to performance or making the web work better for everyone.
It really is thoughtfully designed when you dig into it. So here's something to think about as you browse the web now. Billions of pages out there, all built on these HTML blocks. What seemingly simple element, maybe one we barely touched on or one we covered in depth, when you combine it with others, what do you think has the biggest impact on how we actually share and understand information online?
That's a great question to ponder. It really makes you appreciate the foundation. The journey doesn't end here, of course. Learning is continuous. But with this HTML knowledge, you're not just using the web. You're equipped to understand it, maybe even build parts of it.
You can be a creator now, not just a consumer.
Exactly. So keep exploring, keep building. Remember that even the most amazing complex websites start with these fundamental, powerful HTML building blocks.